Reputation is the cornerstone of power. Through reputation alone, you can intimidate and win. Once it slips, however, you are vulnerable and will be attacked on all sides. Never let others define it for you.
You know, so when I wrote the 48 Laws of Power, I've somebody through my whole life loves playing games. I don't mean that in the abstract sense. I mean literally, like chess, backgammon, sports, poker, whatever. And I like the cleanness of a game. It's like you do this and you can win, etc. But there's also a psychological element in it. So particularly when you're playing poker and you're bluffing, and I was always fascinated by this. It's a game of chance. You don't really know what cards you're going to get. But that fellow over there, he's been bluffing. He bluffed before. I'm sure he did. He's going to do it again, right? So the psychology starts entering into the picture in a game of chance. It's not a game of chance. There's certainly skill involved, but a lot of it's chance. And because he bluffed before and he's got that look in his eye, it could be a woman, I don't mean to generalize. All right, I'm going to fold, okay? So you don't realize that so much of the game of power has nothing to do with data and you being a better person at something. A lot of it is pure psychology and intimidating people and winning before you even enter into a battle. So if you have a reputation, you carry it with you. And the reputation doesn't have to be real. Personally, I don't know how valid this is. I have this reputation now of being this Machiavellian characters, you know, and so if Robert's 5 minutes late for a meeting, it means he's playing a game, even though it's probably just the traffic. But my reputation now kind of put people a little bit on their heels, you know, where it's not necessarily true about me, but it kind of goes ahead of me and it influences.
Nation precedes you.
Yeah. And so it's an extra form of power. So the overall arching idea to pull this out of the specific is power is pure psychology. And what I mean by that is the CEO of a company, he doesn't get there based on, it's not like baseball, whereas balls and stars, soccer, I'm sorry, you probably don't understand, probably even know what baseball is.
I'm a Texas Rangers fan, I'll have you know.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, it's not like baseball where balls, you know, you have a good batting average or OPS, all right, you're going to get in the lineup, they're going to bat you in the cleanup spot, okay? Life isn't like that. So the way somebody rises to the CEO, and I know because I was on the board of directors of a publicly traded company, is not about metrics. It's not about things that they've actually done. It's about psychology, right? People rise to positions of power because they know how to play the game, and they know how to play the game of psychology. They know how to appear. They know how to play the optics. They know how to intimidate. They know how to say less than necessary. They know all the psychological little gambits. And that's why I wrote the 48 Laws of Power. It's kind of like, this is the game of life, the game of power. The rules are a little bit nebulous, but here's how you play. You play by mastering these little psychological bits. One of them is your reputation.
I'm fascinated by reputation and credibility, especially given what I do now. But my previous life, I was a club promoter.
You were what?
Club promoter. I ran nightclubs for a very long time.
Club promoter. What do we call that here?
It would just be a promoter. It's called. So marketing for nightclubs, essentially. The guy stood on the front door with the guest list and the bands for VIP and all of the hot girls' names. And then after a while, we owned a group of guys that did that. And then we owned a group of guys that owned it. And you start to build up this company.
Wow.
And in that, every single nightclub that you've ever been to is the same thing. It's people getting drunk in a room to music. It'll never be anything else. You can dress this one up pink and give out inflatable flamingos on the door, or this one's really cheap, or this one's on a Wednesday and it's sort of naughty that you shouldn't be going out on a Wednesday. Dress it up however you want. It's people getting drunk in a room to music. That's all it's ever going to be. And what I realized from doing that was the power of reputation. Now, this isn't the reputation of a person, it's the reputation of a brand. But if your company is known for always putting on good parties, then you get to benefit from that. And
what happens is, when you have a reputation for putting on good parties,
people come.
More people come.
Which
so you
makes
have
your
better parties.
Good. Yep, correct. So this is this sort of odd, and this is the really important point. Never let others define it for you. And when you are vulnerable, you'll be attacked on all sides. Because as it's going up, it precedes you. It continues to do work for you, exponentially growing and growing. But when you're starting to go down, even your best work will sometimes be derogated to be worse than it is. So you have done something that is good, but because of your reputation, you're a liar, you're a phony, you're a grifter, you're a shill, you're a fake.
That's right.
Yeah, credibility is the one thing that you should never sell because you cannot buy it back. There is no return policy on your credibility.
And people are so, getting back to the word stupid, I mean,
it's a theme.
They post things on social media when they're young and not realizing that 5 years later, when they're trying to get a job at a law firm, they're like, sure, they're doing incredibly ridiculous things on Instagram, and that's part of their reputation. Everything you do is reflected through the social world, right? Nothing is in isolation. People are continually judging you. So you have to be aware. You have to think before you post. You have to think, how are people going to take this? If I say this stupid, rude thing that comes right out of me because I don't control my tongue, it's going to ruin one false step will ruin your reputation.
There's a British MP who is on the receiving end of a tweet from 2009, which has come back around.
I think I read about this. What was that?
You like, get these Estonian retards out of my house right now.
So I don't mean to laugh about that because that's terrible. Estonians are very smart people.
Get these Estonian retards out of my house right now. Or I want these, whatever. And she's had to do this groveling apology.
Oh, God.
But I mean, when did Twitter start? Probably 2008 or so. This is, just early. Yeah. This is the equivalent of the Big Bang. This is the, whatever it is, microwave cosmic background of tweets. And I just love that. I really think that the reputation point can't be overstated. And, I've got to see in this industry as well, both whether it's authors, podcasters, YouTube, there are some people who have traded reputation and credibility for money or for short-term trades that didn't make sense and they've not ended up coming off in one form or another. They've tried to cash it in.
Like, give me an example. You mean like going to Spotify and
no, not that.
To not name names.
No, not that. Interestingly, with Joe's move to Spotify, that was something that he got an awful lot of credibility for, and that's one of the interesting things. Had it have been with a different platform that didn't carry as much weight, gravitas, they have their own reputation. It becomes multiplicative as opposed to sort of subtractive.
Yeah, no, of course.
Like getting a Nike sponsorship is cool. Hooray for you. That's not you selling out. But getting a sponsorship with some brand that everybody thinks is really like lame, that is selling out. You're obviously only doing it for the cash.
Yeah.
But there's a ton of guys that have held political positions or have swayed with the wind, just blown with the way, whatever it goes this way, whenever it goes that way. And the interesting thing is, even if they've made a ton of money from it, even if it's been advantageous in one domain, I actually think that if you gave them the opportunity, they would give all of it back and some to be able to regain their reputation. I think they would give anything they could to be back in the cool kids club. And there's no return policy on credibility.